To a follow-up on a story we've been following closely. The mother of a Chicopee murder victim reaching out to our newsroom today, saying a state law she's been efforting has been stalled once again. And with the legislative session coming to a close in just a matter of days, she's asking us for help getting answers from legislators. Western Mass News reporter Lexi Oliver joins us live in studio with more on that. Lexi?
Chris, Amanda Plass's family has been fighting to get Amanda's law passed for nearly a decade after Amanda was stabbed to death at her apartment and photos of her crime scene were allegedly passed around by responding officers. With the session set to end on Sunday, her family tells us they're at a standstill.
Why can't we get this passed? It makes no sense. We need accountability for when stuff like this happens.
More than a decade after Amanda Plass was murdered in Chicopee, her family is still fighting to get a law passed in her name.
You start getting a little on the angrier side rather than because the hope is kind of not there anymore.
Amanda's sister Amy Lee Plass and her mom Michelle Penna tell Western Mass News responding officers took pictures of Amanda lying in a pool of blood and then shared those photos with other people in the community.
Her dignity wasn't protected at all.
Dubbed Amanda's Law, the bill would ban first responders from taking and sharing unauthorized pictures of crime victims.
We're supposed to be protected and served by these officers, and when there's a victim that can't speak for themselves, that's when they need you the most. That's when we need them the most.
Penna and Plass say they've gathered signatures from the community, and every 2 years they spend the day testifying before lawmakers, and they don't know what else they can do.
It takes like a whole year, and then we find out that on the 31st, if it's not through, it's dead, and we got to start all over.
But they say they're willing to do whatever it takes.
If we need to reword the law, that's something that we could visit. If we just need to work with these officials.
Western Mass News caught up with State Senator John Vilas to find out more about where the bill stands. He tells us they voted the bill favorably out of the Judiciary Committee back in March, and he isn't sure why it's not getting done.
Let's be honest, who could oppose this bill? Why would you oppose this bill? It's just basic human decency. I think, and I hate saying this, it could just be falling victim, if you will, to the process where there are 7,000 bills filed and not everyone gets done, but that's still not a valid reason.
And he says he hopes legislators can get it on the governor's desk by the end of the session, and he'll continue to push for this bill to be passed for Penna and her family.
She deserves this bill. Amanda deserves this bill.
And with a similar law passed almost immediately in California following the fatal helicopter crash that killed 9 people, including basketball star Kobe Bryant in 2020, Penna is pleading with lawmakers to take action.
Knowing that, you have to prepare yourself and pour this heart-wrenching, horrifying story into 3 minutes, testifying in an auditorium in front of hundreds of people that you don't know. We don't want to do it again. We don't want to do it again. We will, but we don't want to do it again.
While Amanda's family continues to wait on Beacon Hill, Senator Vilas tells us today legislators reached an agreement on the Holyoke Soldiers Home Oversight and Governance Bill, which would provide safeguards to prevent a tragedy like the COVID-19 outbreak in 2020 from happening again. He says that will be voted on tomorrow or Friday. Meantime, he says 7 bills are currently in conference committees, including one regarding sports betting in the Commonwealth. And he expects a lot of movement from now through Sunday night. Reporting live in studio for Western Mass News 11 at 11, I'm Lexi Oliver.
Lexi.